Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. I drank way too much coffee, and I can't go to sleep yet. So this is Comics Great 2, The Elementals. But yet I have the Justice Machine in the easel, and the Justice Machine cover has the Thunder Agents. Oh, what a tangled web I weave of deception and murder and all sorts of nonsense. So let's first off, there's an invite for anybody who wants to watch, wants to join in. I'm just going to filibuster for a little bit because I got nobody watching as of yet, but this was the spur of the moment thing. So I'm just going to filibuster, fix my collar. Damn fool neck is broken. See if anybody pops in. I will share my screen with myself, and I will show my Fund My Comic over here. This is my Fund My Comics page. That is my comic. Wow, 203. Wow, 203. I got $5,806. I also have a 1,086 on Kickstarter. So if I add them up, I'm only like $180 away from the next stretch goal. So I would really like to hit that next stretch goal. This closes in 2 more days. This closes on Saturday at 5 p.m. So I will do like a Friday night closing party. If it, then it'll just be on Kickstarter. And then when Kickstarter closes, I'm going to do an Indiegogo with another variant cover. This is the only place you'll be able to get this Pat Broderick cover. I love this cover so much. So cool. So cool. There's the back cover and all of that goodness. So I'm going to remove that. I will shrinky dink myself, and I'll stop that. Hey, Phantom Outsider, hail chat. How you doing? So now that I got some people watching, this was a surprise thing. I just, I couldn't go to sleep, drank too much coffee. I started drinking coffee way too late because I didn't have any this morning. So I made a pot when my wife came home, and now I'm wide awake. So I thought I'd do Comics Great, where I'm going to talk about the Elementals. So here is an open invite if anybody wants to pop in, and we'll talk comics together, because I like talking about comics. Me and my crazy unkempt hair. I don't know if you could tell, but I really need to shave. I'm a disgusting potato of a human being these days. So without further ado, we're going to talk about the Elementals. Oh, we got a comment already. I haven't read or really seen it. Elementals in years. Had some from Comico and their first publisher. Forget the name. Yeah, Comico. Well, this is their first publisher, Texas Comics. And then issue number 1 came out under Comico or Comico, however you pronounce it. So in order to talk about the Elementals, I wanted to show their first appearance, which was here in Justice Machine Annual number 1. There we go. So this is a little bit of an oddity. We got Justice Machine Annual number 1, and then the Thunder Agents are on the cover. So like I said, this is a riddle wrapped in a conundrum, wrapped in a comic book. So let's open this up. Noble Comics. Mike Gustovich over here, our buddy Mike Gustovich. So I guess I gotta pull back a little bit so we can get the whole thing in screen. Let's get the whole thing in screen. Okay, that means I gotta be a little farther back. All right, so we got Bill Loebs, so it's William Mesner Loebs, Bill Reinhold colors and pencils, Jeff D inks. All right, I didn't realize that, and Brett Anderson. Okay, do it so that this is all the creative team, and this is a Thunder Agent story. I have over 200 short boxes, and I'm not digging through them any time soon. Well, I just dug through mine. Mine are in alphabetical order, so it was pretty easy to get them. I haven't really read or seen my Elementals near some from Comico. Their first, yeah. Like I said, I just went and got them. My comic collection is nice and organized. Otherwise, it's just I might as well not have comics if I don't organize them. So again, I got some people watching. People can pop in and we can talk comics together. So I'm not really that interested in going through the Thunder Agents, but I just wanted to show. Oh, Luniverse, how you doing? Good to see new names. Good to see new. I clicked on it, but then I didn't realize. I thought it said something else. So we got the Thunder Agents. The Thunder Agents, I did a big series on the Thunder Agents on my regular videos. As a matter of fact, they have their own playlist. This is Iron Maiden, and I really dig the Thunder Agents. I went into a bookstore, a comic book store. What was the name of it? And it was closing, and they were just like everything in these dollar comic. They just wanted to get rid of them, and I got like 16 out of the 20 Thunder Agents comics, like in really good position, really good condition for like $1 each. Yeah, so that I only had to pay like a premium price for like 4 of them. It was really good. See, we got Thunder Agents. Again, I'm just trying to show. And now what are the Thunder Agents doing? We're joining forces with the Justice Machine. For those of you who don't know, I could see people probably knowing the Thunder Agents before they know the Justice Machine. Well, let's start at the beginning. The Thunder Agents were created by Wally Wood, and they were for Tower Comics. It only lasted 20 issues, and they were like deluxe-sized comics. Like each issue was the size of it, like an annual, and they were broken up. Like there was Dynamo, there was Nomad, there was Lightning, and Menthor, and they were the Thunder Agents, and they worked for the UN, and they were good guys, superhero spy agency. So think of like Shield, and it was cool, excellently drawn, but childishly written. Then there was the Justice Machine, and the Justice Machine were a group of enforcers on the planet Jor-El. You get it? Jor-El from George Orwell, and they were the bad guys. They worked for Maximor, and they crushed opposition and enforced the like a Orwellian nightmare world. They chased part of the thing about George Orwell is there's no escapism. You cannot, if people can flee, then they're not all powerful. So people made it to Earth. The Justice Machine went to Earth to chase after them, and then got contaminated by ideas of like liberty and individual freedom, and then they became like freedom fighters. So they were the bad guys, became the good guys. I rebagged and boarded them during the pandemic and put the books in and out. Okay. But I moved, and looks like some of the books magically jump up. Yeah, comics will do that. I mean, I don't know much of comics, so that's fine. If you want to come in, it's just a conversation. Just a conversation. If you want to come in, anybody, Bueller. Well, 11 people. Yeah, considering this was just a spur of the moment decision. So that's a little background on both. So who are the Justice Machine? This guy is Talisman. Oh no, this guy is Demon. And it's funny that I said this guy is Talisman. Why can't I remember her name? Fire something. This is Diviner. And where's their leader? The leader is Challenger. Oh, this is Titan. And why are they not showing the whole team? But anyway, they're not showing the whole team. But again, I'm skipping through this because this isn't what I wanted to show. I got to reread this story. Not Firestar. Something like Burner or something like that. They all had real. They say their names? No, they don't. But and here's Raven. This is one of the Thunder Agents. Nomad, Dynamo. Dynamo was like their breakout character. And I loved Nomad. Nomad was Nomad. No Man was my favorite. He was a blue artificial human, and he could send a signal and transmit his consciousness to his other bodies. So, he was stronger than the average human. But when his body got destroyed, it would wake up. He would wake up in another body. It was pretty cool. The problem is he had this cloak of invisibility, and there was only one of them, so he would have to go and retrieve the cloak. Okay. So here they are. They're meeting up. And like I said, I'm going through this fast because it doesn't really matter, because I want to talk about the Blazer. That's the girl's name. Blazer. It was driving me crazy. I couldn't remember her name. And of course, what good comic book? Nazis attack. Oddly enough, Wallywood never gave Kitten Kane the Power Girl treatment. No. For those of you who don't know what he's talking about, the Power Girl treatment is every issue that Power Girl showed up, he made her boobs bigger and bigger as a joke, just to see how long it would take for somebody to tell him to stop. So here we are again. This is not. I just wanted to show this. Interesting thing about the Thunder Agents is that all their powers came from devices. So Dynamo had this belt, and he would hit the belt, and it would supercharge him. He became super heavy, super dense, and super strong. Lightning, he had the raw end of the deal. He would wear his suit. Here he is, right here, and it would increase his speed to like Flash levels, but it would age him. So they were swapping out people becoming Lightning. They would just get older and die and older and die. It was, and then Nomad, he was an android, he was a device, and Mentor had the helmet, and Raven had a wing device. So none of them had natural powers, as opposed to the Justice Machine. This is Challenger. He's the leader. Challenger, he was like a Captain America. He's just a superbly trained athletic human. This is Demon, who is super agile. Think of like Daredevil, but he became a drug addict. Basically keeping us. I think that the name of the drug was called Edge or something like that. Before anybody pops in, you got to have a camera. I want to talk to faces. So I see people popping in, but they got avatars. So let me know if that's going to cause problems, because I want to talk to faces. So, hey, Luna, you have a camera?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me get my camera.
I don't know. I just have a hard time talking to avatars. I like talk. I'm a people person, so I like talking.
It's okay. I can get my camera.
Okay. So, but you're welcome, and thank you for popping in. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. I'm John from John's Long Box. Despite of what you might heard, I'm not a bad guy.
I didn't hear anything.
I'm being facetious, but
yeah, I know.
And don't be nervous, dude. This is just friends talking about comic books.
Yeah, if you don't mind, can you? I'm just going to mute myself before so I can get my camera.
Okay, I'm gonna pull you down, and when I see that you're ready, I'll pull you back up again. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. You see, I'm not a bad guy, despite what my family says about me. What did Phantom Outsider say? Until the editorial noticed, as he was sure they were not monitoring, he was correct. But eventually they took there was a big reason to notice after a while. I always thought of Dynamo as half Hour Man and half JSA. Oh, half Hour Man. I don't know if you're being a joke, but like 30-minute man. Yeah, because he was on a timer for a while. This is Titan. He gets really big. Again, I got to reread the story. I forgot. It's been so long since I read the story. And this was a hard comic to get. I didn't get this until, where did I find this? It was in a rare comic book store that I found this. And I wasn't interested in the Doom Patrol or the Justice Machine. I was only interested in the Elementals. So I probably only read this just the one time. That's Iron Maiden. She has a thing for Dynamo. She's always seducing him. Look at Nomad just going up. I don't know. I just love that blue skin and then the orange costume and dark blue cape. It's just a simple color palette, but I love that. All right. One thing that always bothered me was the shape of the guns that Challenger carried, but that's neither here nor there. That's not really important. And fighting ensues, and there we go. Okay, so now this is why I'm here. So first off, I just want to say this is Michael Gustovich. Why am I talking about Michael Gustovich? Well, Michael Gustovich First off, he's been on my channel. Second off, I've been a fan of Michael Gustovich. Like I said, I didn't know the Justice Machine at this point, but Elementals came out, and then Elementals made a 4-issue series of the Elementals and the Justice Machine, and that got me interested in the Justice Machine. Then I went back and got the back issues. I became a big fan of the Justice Machine, and I'm going on Indiegogo in 2 weeks, and the variant cover will be drawn by Mike Gustovich. So inked and drawn by Mike Gustovich. So there you go. All right, so this is the first appearance of the Elementals. So the Elementals, created by Bill Willingham, 1983. Hey, Brian, how you doing? I'm just doing a spur of the moment live thing, talking about, I do a series called Comics Great, and then I pick some good comics and just talk about them. It's just a comic book thing. So if anybody wants to pop in, you're welcome. We're just talking about comics. Just, come on in. Agent Cub wants to know what happened to the guy with the beard. Well, the guy with the beard passed out while driving. The blood sugar level, I think it was, dropped and hit a tree, and then broke his neck, literally broke his neck, and has to wear a collar. And because of this collar has like a foam inside, it was driving me crazy. So I had to shave the beard. The beard will come back as soon as the collar's off. And
hey.
Oh no, that's what you look like. Let me pull you down. I'm just teasing.
Oh man.
How you doing?
Doing good.
I hope I didn't bust your chops but I just like talking to faces. You know what I mean? Like
no, it's fine. I was just making sure I cleaned up my space before I show
put
up.
The dirty underwear away. Always a good plan. Put the dirty underwear away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost forgot until I didn't. Thank you. So, anybody wants to pop in with Luna and myself, we're just talking about the Elementals. So I just skimmed through 2/3 of this comic because as much as I love the DNA agents, that's a whole nother team. As much as I love the Thunder agents and I love the Justice Machine, I wanted to talk about the Elementals, but I also wanted to show where they came from. So this is Texas Comics Justice Machine Annual #1. Justice Machine's not on the cover. It's just one of those crazy funny things. And here we are, the Elementals. Ta-da! 18 minutes, I finally got to this.
So the Elementals, what are they about?
Okay, well, there you go. We will learn as we go. The next couple of pages kind of explains the Elementals. But are you familiar with Bill Willingham?
No.
Okay, Bill Willingham, nowadays, he's probably most known for the series Fables. He created Fables, and I think maybe he drew an issue or two, but he's more famous as a writer these days. Fables was for DC Comics, I think was the Vertigo line.
Mm-hmm.
It was like all the nursery rhymes and grim fairy tale characters were in Manhattan and hijinks ensue. Great comic. Absolutely fabulous comic. It was one of the few comics that my wife actually read along with me. So he launched him into superstar status. It ran its course. He ended it on his terms. And then I think DC talked him into doing like a 6-issue revival. And when that ended, he was livid. He said that the DC were messing with them. They weren't honoring the contracts. Ooh. So he just stormed off and said, I'm never doing anything. And he goes, guys, Fables is public domain. I am the creator of Fables. It's public domain. So everybody make your own Fables. So he kind of like quit scorched earth. And I'm a big fan of Bill Willingham. I've been trying to get him to talk about it, on my channel. But he's got FU money. He doesn't need to promote. Phantom Outsider says Willingham actually recently made the Fables public. Yes, to screw. Yeah, we were just talking about that. So that's Bill Willingham. I first became aware of Bill Willingham, and if I was prepared better, I would have got it. But I play a role-playing game called Villains and Vigilantes. If you watch my channel for more than 5 minutes, I mentioned that role-playing game. Bill Willingham was one of the first people to do a supplement for it. They called it modules back then, but I don't know what the term is now. But you bought like a prepackaged adventure, and it was called Island of Dr. Apocalypse, and then the sequel to it was Death Duel with the Destroyers. I'm going to make a video just showing off those two modules. One of those, and I fell in love with Bill Willingham's art. And then I heard that he went and did the Elementals. Now, here's the funny story about the Elementals. Was this Noble Comics, Texas Comics, Noble Comics, I think it was the same company. They put out a word that they were looking for comic books to. They were a comic book company without any comics to publish. So they said, anybody. So Bill Willingham said, yeah, they come on out to Chicago and pitch. So while he was on the bus, Bill Willingham drew, I think, these pages of the Elementals, and he just made it to show that he could draw. He didn't think of it that it was going to be his comic. So he shows it to him. The guy goes, great. Give me a couple more pages. That'll be issue number 1. He was like, what? He goes, yeah, the Elementals. That's a great idea. So he was like, oh, all right. So it was like stumbling into a great comic. Now, what is
all
it
from
about?
a word?
Sure.
No, like all from a word. Like he got the green light from a word.
Yeah. Well, he heard about Noble Comics, this comic company. It was like, we're a comic company, but we need comics to publish.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he was living in New York, and he was just like, yeah, I'm going to pitch. They're like, come on out here and pitch. He thought he was going to come out and pitch. They were like, you're hired already.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So by the time he got there, they're like, okay, so what comic are you going to make? And he was like, well, I drew this. Okay, that's the comic. And he was like, huh? Okay. But look how talented he is. Look at this artwork.
Oh, yeah.
So here we got, 1983. This is Shapeshifter. You can imagine what powers Shapeshifter has,
Yeah.
And just look at this wonderful storytelling. And then you got, this is Lord Saker, and they're talking about this home. Why do they care about this home? Because of this. Boom. Here it is. The first appearance of the Elementals. So we got Vortex. It's got air powers. This is Jeff Murphy, Vortex. This is Tommy Kazurka. He's Monolith, Earth powers. Rebecca Golden. She's Fathom. Fathom before Michael Turner's Fathom, which is another thing that burns Bill Willingham's butt. Water powers, and this is why can't I? She's always the one whose name I forget. But her name is Morningstar, and she has the fire powers. It's gonna drive me nuts that I can't remember her name. And so now they're gonna talk about Jeanette Crane. So they're just talking about their origins, and so the premise is Shapeshifter is informing Lord Saker, the bad guy, of the Elementals. So she was a police officer. She ran into a burning flame, and she ran into a burning building, was burnt to death. And then a couple of days later comes back to life with flame powers. Jeff Murphy was a Navy pilot. He was a Navy pilot in Vietnam. He's also working for the Coast Guard. He goes up to rescue. Gets caught in a windstorm. His helicopter gets smashed. He dies. A couple of days later, he comes back with air powers. Tommy Kazurka was a little kid. He was a 14-year-old boy. He got caught in a landslide while hiking with his dad. His dad is still dead, but he comes back alive with earth powers. And Rebecca Golden, she was swimming out in the what is it? The Sound by Seattle, Puget Sound. She drowns. He comes back from the dead with power. So that's the running theme, is they all died and came back. So there's like a supernatural element to the Elementals.
So how do they come back to life?
I cannot fathom what powers Fathom might have, but also she uses them in the house. Her carpets are all yeah. I cannot fathom what power. So, and I just love how like this cigarette smoke and everything. It's just like front and center. 1983 was a different time.
Yeah.
So how did they all come back to life? Thus therein lies the conundrum. So now they're all sitting in Rebecca Golden's father's house. Her father's a rich lawyer. They have a beautiful mansion in Seattle. And it was funny because in 1983, I was like, Seattle, where's Seattle? This was before the Seattle music craze. So like Seattle was like a foreign country. And they were all just kind of like sitting around being lumps, and this is the Walter, their butler. He's a midget butler.
Mm-hmm.
And he acts like Alfred and like kind of like their conscience. And here he goes flying off, and he gets attacked by a dragon. Look at that!
Mm-hmm.
Look at that,
dude. That is sick.
That is just Bill Willing. And I avoided your question for a reason. I'll get to it. Like why?
It's okay.
Yeah, but it's a good question, and it's pretty much the theme of the whole series. Why did they come back from the dead? So look at this. I love these costumes. A few lines as possible, as few colors as possible. To me, this is like peak costume design. I was really, really inspired by this, and I just love the names. Vortex, boom. He's got either spinning powers or air powers. And here he is. He's attacked by this dragon. Look at that. Look at that.
Vortex could also mean space, like portals or something.
Right. So he shows up. Hello, Fathom. And he just collapses on the ground. What happened? So she's running out to see what happened. We get a tiger over here. Fathom, look out. What happens? She blasts the tiger with water, and it's Shapeshifter. So Shapeshifter was the dragon. Shapeshifter is the tiger. And I love this. Look at this panel. She just stretches around. So she's got like Reed Richards power. She's got Changeling's power. And to top it off, because in the module of Death Duel and Destroyers, the Villain Vigilante supplement book, you actually saw her powers. One of her powers is she has heightened expertise with any weapon. So like she could shapeshift and pull out a gun, and she's like as good as Bullseye with the gun.
Yeah.
Shapeshift, pull out a sword. So she is the ultimate like handheld, hand-to-hand combatant. And they're rookies, So,
yeah, so it's a master going up against a bunch of rookies. Yeah.
Right. So she's taking out the elementals. Shapeshifter is in the elemental world, when Shapeshifter's coming after you, you're like, oh, this is, we need help. And I always like that they made her sneaky. They made her really downright mean. I don't even want to tell you some of the stuff that she does in later issues. So now she's smiling. Like, what are you smiling for? And boom, here comes Morningstar. Doesn't matter how many shapes you shift into, fire still burns, right? And I love this. She's transforming into this thing, and they're running towards each other. So fire and water hit each other, knock each other out. She's using their inexperience against them, and takes off. Oh, she's going to take off, but we see the hand over here. What was that? Look at this panel. She shapeshifts into some sort of monstrous being, and it's just, this is Monolith, the Earth Elemental, versus Shapeshifter. And this, look at that.
It looks like she's also made a rock like him.
Yeah, that's how much control she has over her form,
So I'm gathering that she's the main bad guy.
She's one of the main, she's the first main bad guy. But remember, this issue started with her reporting to her master, Lloyd Saker.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, he's throwing her around. And I love this. She throws it, she grabs him, and then comes back like with this like hammer anvil thing, and then knocks him into the water. And he can't swim. So now, the next day, she's reforming. Morningstar is Shapeshifter is transforming, and also she's caught on fire, and this becomes a thing right here. Morningstar is just burns her to the point where she she fakes surrendering and then takes off. And she goes, "You hurt me, you little bitch. Next time we meet." And this becomes I'm not even joking. This is 1983. In about 10 years, real time, it takes her that long to enact the nastiest revenge in the history of comics. I don't want to spoil what she ends up doing. She goes, "You're dead." And then we got the police show up, and she's now reporting to Lord Saker. And he goes, "They are very powerful, but inexperienced. They have great potential. Are you considering recruiting them?" He goes, "Oh, no. They will not join me because they've been created specifically to destroy me. Summon the rest of the team. We need to leave at once to eliminate them." And then goes to the first issue of the Elementals, is Death Duel with the Destroyers, which is the name of the module, the V&V module. So there you go. This was going to be the cover, Texas Comics, The Elementals #1, but Texas Comics went defunct right after this. So there never was Texas Comics Elementals #1. Instead, there was Comico #1. Yep. And while I take this out, so here are the Destroyers on the back, and here are the Elementals on the front. And I will address some of the comments before I open this up. Mama Cass came back as a sandwich. Yes, when she died, when Mama Cass came, you come back with powers over what killed you. So when Mama Cass choked to death on a ham sandwich, she came back with food abilities.
Yeah.
Phantom Outsider, and whenever they die, they still come back. They're human avatars of the earth elements, like the swamp. Yes. Bill Willingham is an underrated artist. He's one of my favorite artists. Absolutely. Feldsbug, I agree. He's one of my favorite too. Shapeshifter looks like Bowie. She kind of does. The Slim White Duke version of Bowie. Hey, you doing? Hi, hell peeps. Check out your comic. It's live. Where is it? Live on Indiegogo? Yes, the stream would still be scalding hot. Yes. Yep. So Phantom Outsider is agreeing with me. What she does is pure evil. Yeah. Nope. Yep. No revenge has ever come close to Shapeshifter's revenge. Yeah. Nobody wants to spoil it. Pure evil, and no one saw it coming. Yeah. Bill Willingham is a twisted genius. So I gotta take a sip of something cold.
She kind of reminds me of, this might show my age, like Madame Rouge from Teen Titans.
Yep. Yeah. Madame Rouge, she fought the Doom Patrol.
Yep.
Originally, excuse me, she had stretching powers.
Yeah.
I don't think, maybe she did later on, but I don't think she transformed into shapes and stuff. She was like a female Reed Richards.
Yeah, she was just a female Mr. Fantastic, and I always thought she was kind of cool and dreading every time she showed up, because when she shows up, that's when someone goes down.
Yeah, she was a bad ass. The only reason I bought a Red Elementals is because my kid brother was like, "Get this, it looks good." So I want to put it on my pull list. Yeah, I got a lot of things to say about Elementals, but I'll introduce these characters. We got Shapeshifter. Like we already met her, and this is Annihilator. Ooh. I don't know why I freaking love Annihilator. I love the name. I love the costume. I love the fact that he fires these jet boots, and then he just does power blasts. I don't know why. Because these characters all debuted in the Village Vigilantes module, so I've been using these characters in my game for a long time, and my comic book Tales is inspired by my game, so I have to change all these characters out because I can't use, these are Bill Williams characters. But I've had an Annihilator character for 30 years beating the crap out of him. He's like one of my recurring villains. Originally, this was Iron Maiden in the module, but I guess when they crossed over with the Thunder Agents, the Thunder Agents villain was called Iron Maiden, so they changed her to Chrysalis. So originally it was just a woman in armor that gave her magnetic powers. Now it's Chrysalis, so it's like an insect armor. This is Behemoth. Behemoth is like a big dumb brute, and Ratman, he's a werewolf. He's a werewolf rat or a were-rat.
Rare rat, yeah.
So nothing can hurt him except for silver weapons. And this is Electrocutioner, and I'll be talking about Electrocutioner in a bit.
Not the one from DC, obviously.
No, there was actually like two different characters from DC. They probably preceded this, if you ask me. Hey, Woodrow, how you doing? Hey, Kevin, how you doing? Kevin, you probably read these copies, right? I'm pretty sure Kevin's my old roommate from Albuquerque. Willingham. Yep. Willingham. So let's open this up. This is the papers. This is like better quality paper. The other paper was newsprint, so you're going to see like a little difference in the color. And check that out. Autographed by Bill Willingham. I met him at a comic convention, and he, this was back when he wasn't a superstar yet. So I was a little kid. I must have been like 15, and he's old. He's a little older than me. So I met him, and he was like, yeah, hang out. We just. I don't know if I was bothering him. I don't know, like if I had the wherewithal to know if I was bothering him, but I just hung out with him while he was drawing. So here we got the Elementals. This is like a couple of days later after they got beat up. I do say that I like the colors on the newsprint paper a little bit better. I have a feeling that they colored this as if it was going to be newsprint paper, but then this Baxter paper, so it's a little too bright for my liking. But
yeah, it's a little like it's shooting out.
Yeah. So what's going on? They're talking about what happened. If you notice, her costume changed. So, oh no, she still has the same costume. So this is the guy from the FBI. So the FBI shows up. Why? For two reasons. People don't usually come back from the dead, and they were confirmed dead. It's not like rumored. They were confirmed dead, and now they got superpowers. So the FBI, the government's going to get involved in that. So this is the liaison from the FBI, and I love this. Tommy Kazurka, the 14-year-old, is the boy genius. And it's funny because everybody underestimates him. So what are they doing? They're going through their origins, slightly. So they talk about the moment you guys died, there was a fireball on Mount Rainier. There was a tidal wave in Oregon. There was a tornado, and not to mention there was a landslide in the Arizona meteor. So they're talking about like at the exact same moments, these events happened all on the earth at the same time. So, he's like, and then people are saying you got power. He doesn't believe it yet, so she's showing off her powers and what have you. I love this ship. Now here come the destroyers. They're going to the Space Needle. You know what I mean? This is 1983. This is an actual photograph with
Can you lower it? Yeah. Is that Seattle?
Yep. That's the Seattle.
Yep.
Needle. That's where they're based. Like I said, I didn't know about Seattle in 1983. I was like, I didn't know the Space Needle. I didn't know this was a real place. I was,
Yeah.
So they're in Seattle now. But look at this. It's a real photograph. And, now we're all this that stuff's been going on in comics since the beginning. They're sitting at the Space Needle, and Porter Scott is asking him questions about what exactly happened. So Jeanette Crane is always, I just realized her name is Jeanette Crane, and she's from Seattle, and then Fraser Crane was from Seattle. I wonder if there's a lot of Cranes in Seattle. They're just talking about rehashing. What are they doing? The Texas Annual #1 didn't really get the publication that it deserved. So Bill Willingham is treating this as the first issue. So he's rehashing everything. Look at this, though. Look at Annihilator just bashing through the window. Is there any wonder I freaking love this comic and I love that character? That is just so cool.
He kind of reminds me of a character. Well, at least the boot part that I came up with, where he has similar. Well, he has boots that kind of make him shoot out, but instead of with fire, it's like firework. Like how fireworks shoot up out in the sky.
Yeah.
his boots make him shoot at, well, it's not as, I won't spoil anything, but let's just say his boots help him shoot like that sparkly thing that makes fireworks fly.
Oh, that would have been a funny joke. Like, we're dead. We're not paying taxes anymore. Well, you know.
Yeah.
So now Annihilator just comes in. Here comes Chrysalis, Ratman, Electrocutioner over here. You know, Porter Scott pulls out the gun, and Chrysalis, what does she do? She's got like these insect powers. She just coats him in honey. I don't know about you, but just thinking about getting sticky stuff all over my skin, gross. You know, so
Yeah.
he's encased in a cocoon of honey. And
Well, I'm not a fan of slimy cold stuff.
Yeah,
like, if it's cold and slimy, then unless it's warm, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I don't even like suntan lotion on my skin, you know. So the rest of the elementals are getting ready to go, and here we got Chrysalis's honey blast versus Morning Star's flame, you know. And here comes Ratman ready to attack Vortex. He just blasts them, and I love this. Fathom just fires these like high pressure water blasts that blows back Annihilator, but it knocks Tommy Kazurka out Space Needle. So he transforms into rock, and then boom.
Does he have a catchphrase that says "Let's rock"?
Yeah, there you go. He comes out of the ground, and then here's Behemoth. You go in somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're all, look at this, just melee just going on. You know, it's one of the things that I really like that Willingham did is there's like a superhero fight would just be chaotic, especially somebody who's just blasted high pressure water around. Like you'd be changing your facing, water would be going around, you know. And he's doing a real good job. Like, you know, Electrocutioner is just like, oh
Yeah.
we're outclassed here. He goes, nonsense. All it takes, Annihilator is the calm, cool one. You know, we need to do this. And then if you notice, Chrysalis never speaks.
I wonder why Electrocutioner wouldn't originally be part of the Elementers, because he has lightning based powers, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has lightning based powers, but the elementals, the four classical Aristelian elementals are earth, air, water, fire.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I don't think they knew about electricity back then. You know, they saw lightning, but they just thought it was like a manifestation of Zeus or the heavens.
Oh, I see.
You know, or maybe they just thought it was fire from the sky. So, you know, I love this. Chrysalis just puts his head in some goop. You know, I love this. Fathom is basically just swimming. It's almost like she's flying, but she's swimming.
Oh, that's clever.
And then this I really like, when I was talking about the coloring being bright. So here's Morningstar. She's just firing, and it almost glows off the page. You know, it just sizzles all of Chrysalis's her like honey blast. And then Jeff is you know, suffocating in his face mask. And then we got the two bruisers just down here just smashing each other. I love this. He's just throwing a car on top of him. And I always thought he looked like Chris Farley. You know, just if you could resurrect Chris Farley to play Behemoth, just smashing the ground and knocking him out, you know. And she's just overheating Chrysalis's armor. They made a point to saying it was some sort of ceramic that was heat resistant. And then, you know, she's super hot. She gets sprayed with water from Ratman that like stuns her. And now Fathom just has enough and just blasts the rest of the destroyers out of the Space Needle. And they realize that they're outclassed. You know, they discretion is the better part of valor, and they just leave. You know, there's Ratman over here. She just blasts him with fire. He's taken out. Chrysalis fights. And I love this. So they already established that that her ceramic armor was heat resistant, so she just hits it with water and just has this, like, whatever you want to call it, pod. She saved. They rip him out, and here, look at this. The police come to help. You know,
Yep.
and of course, who hasn't been in the fight yet? Shapeshifter. So she has Mr. Golden, you know, Rebecca's father. And I love this. She shapeshifts out, pulls his gun, and has him. He goes, "You're going to remain very still." He goes, "When my partners return, you're going to surrender." He's like, "What do you do?" They surrender. They had them all on the ropes. They were winning. Shapeshifter, just calculating, comes in and defeats them all.
That panel where she transforms from the cop kind of reminded me of the T-1000 from Terminator.
Yep. Like I said, when did the Terminator movie come out?
In the 90s, like 91.
Yeah, so this is years before that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I've been saying that for years. You show me something cool you saw in a movie, and I'll show you the comic that did it first. You know? So now we have, that's issue number 1. I love this. Destroyer. Here's the lineup. So cool. And I always like to look at the names of the people that wrote letters, see if I recognize any of these names. I don't. So there you go. That was issue 1. And here's other comics for Comico. Evangeline by Chuck Dixon. It's one of Chuck Dixon's first comics. Mage. This was really important to me. Now the Elementals. So I will put this back in the bag and board.
I realize they have letters on their chests, like the villains.
Yeah. Cheesy, but at the same time it works.
It works, yeah.
I'm going to put these over here. So I'm just unbagging issue number 2. So here we got Elementals number 2, $1.50. $1.50. And these were deluxe issues. And then we got Lord Saker on the back.
Ooh, now he looks mean.
Yeah, he's the bad guy. So if you got the Villains Vigilantes modules, the first module is called Island of Dr. Apocalypse. So he was originally called Dr. Apocalypse, but then for whatever reason they changed it to Lord Saker when it came to the comic. And let's address the chat. Phantom Outsider, one of the first things he needs. Oh, okay, we saw that already. If they heated the honey, it sticks. That's burned like crazy. Yeah, molten honey. Yeah.
Or turns to candy, maybe.
So we got these. Okay, so the credits over here, we got Rich Rankin on the inks, Keith Wilson letters, and Brian Shee studio colors, and everything else Bill Willingham. But yeah, it's a shame that Bill. And it's funny because he gets a little testy if you say that on Twitter. He's like, "What do you mean? I draw every day. It's just you don't see what I'm drawing." You know, he does commissions. I would love to get an Elementals commission, but I guess I'll bring it up now. Comico went through some bad times, and I forget who owned Comico. Does it say down here? Gary Giovino, Dennis Lasorda, Bill Lasorda. They sold the rights out from under them. And I think that's how Michael Turner ended up with the name Fathom, you know, for his character. Either that or, you know, and so I don't know who owns the rights to the Elementals. I just know it's not Bill Willingham. And he's a little understandably upset about it. And I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him because either he was naive or either he was naive but you know, he was out of the army at this point, so I can't see him being like a naive kid, or they were just super shady. And I'm gonna err on the side of these guys being super shady. Yeah. Now I'm also gonna err on the side of, I think these guys didn't understand how shady the comic book world was, and I think they got kind of like pressured, or they got taken advantage of. But I don't know. I'm just going to assume it was just a, you know, unfortunate circumstances that just led to the death of this company. And like, because Chuck Dixon can't do anything with Evangeline, his creation.
Yeah, that's always a fear of mine. That's why everyone's going independent.
Right, right, yeah, yeah. They're joking. Oh, you have a Captain America shield on your wall too. I just know.
Yeah, yeah, it's plastic, but I also got a metal one over there. It's bent because I hung it, but for stupid reasons, it dropped and it bent.
You got like this tin one. This is aluminum.
Oh, it's more. I don't know if it's tin, but yeah, it's made out of metal, and it looks like the ones from the movies, more likely not the comic book version, but I like it.
I saw on Instagram, and I should have realized it, but they had a guy with Captain America shield made out of metal, and like he was chopping wood with it and like smash. I was like, oh man, I gotta get that. I gotta get that. So it was like $100 for the shield, and act now and get a Thor hammer too. And they showed like a metal. I'm like, what am I really getting? So I was a stupid idiot. I still got it. You know what I got? A frisbee and a blow up Thor hammer.
A what? Thor hammer?
A frisbee and an inflatable Thor hammer.
Inflatable.
So I contacted PayPal and I showed it to them. They gave me the money back instantly, and then I gave the frisbee and the inflatable Thor hammer to a friend of mine who has like a 2-year-old. So, but I couldn't even get mad because I knew I was getting screwed. Oh, let me address Felsbug. A Bill Willingham Heroic Tales cover. That is, there are 3 things that I want as far as my comic book Heroic Tales: a Bill Willingham cover, a John Byrne cover, and a Walt Simonson cover. And I could get hit by lightning and explode in a park and be the happiest person in the world. I would that would be amazing. John Byrne is a crotchety old man. He won't do it.
Yeah. So you're making a comic?
Yes.
Oh, that's sweet, dude.
Oh, you didn't know my comic? I just assumed that. Oh, what are you doing here? You don't know my comic? Nah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like
okay.
I subscribed last week, and
That's
I
fine.
was
I'm
yeah.
So here, this is a good moment to have a commercial for my comic. So this is my comic. It's called Heroic Tales. Issue 1 features the Patriarch. The Patriarch is a loving father, a devoted husband, and a beloved superhero.
I think I heard of him. Like
I
I heard
made
of.
him up. So if you heard of him, you heard him from me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So this is Renzo Rodriguez doing the cover. He's at this point he's been a superhero for 20 years, and I'm just hitting the ground running, telling you his story. This is a Pat Broderick, one of my favorite artists. I'm trying to like harken back to Bronze Age Marvel, so I wanted to get Bronze Age Marvel artists. So Pat Broderick, I love this. You can only get this on Fund My Comic, and this is the back cover. So this is his wife down here in the purple, and the rest of these people are his children and his family. That's his farm, and this is some of the interior work. Look at this. This is just so gorgeous. That's Boss Moxie robbing the bank. This was the first page that Renzo sent me. I was like, oh my God, that is so cool.
So you're just the writer?
Yeah, I'm just the writer. Yeah, I can't. I if I ever do like a trade paperback, I'm going to include the rough sketches that I sent to Renzo, and you guys will laugh your faces off. So this, and then I got this coin for $5. It's an add-on, a pint glass, a Heroic Tales, and then if you flip it over, it's got the Patriarch symbol on it. And then these are the stretch goals. I'm making cards. So we got the Patriarch cards already unlocked, Boss Moxie, we got Mal, and we are $180 away from unlocking this card. This will be Dame, one of the 3 girls. This will be Gams, and then this will be the bad guy that I didn't reveal yet. And then I have a 7th bonus card of Lucius Kane, who is there's 2 stories in this comic. There's Heroic Tales featuring the Patriarch. That story is called Daddy's Home. And then there's Unheroic Tales, and that story is called The Suit. It's about Lucius Kane. The day he went on a job interview, he buys a suit to go on a job interview, and everything changes. He makes a bad decision, and he becomes a supervillain. It's $10 for the comic, and it's 2 complete stories, 2 complete cards. You know what I mean? I'm an indie guy. It's going to take me a couple of months in between issues. I don't feel it's right to make you wait. If I need more page, if I need to make a longer story, I'll make a bigger comic. So, you know, until I could do comics more regularly, every issue is going to be complete. Simon Beasley cover. There you go. For the UK version. Yeah, but Simon Beasley is like 90s. You know, I'm trying to keep 80s aesthetic. You know, what do you want me to say? I'm an old fart.
You're very blessed, you know, to have your own artists. And you know, I've been trying to search for an artist for a long time, and then I just gave up and I recently gave up like a month ago and was like, you know what, I'm just going to learn how to draw and do it myself.
Oh, good for you, Betty. Good for you. I can't draw by myself. I'm a construction worker. I don't have the time. Like Renzo is I don't know. He's younger than me, but he's been doing it for 20 years. I don't have 20 years to learn the craft. You know, you're a youngin'. You got 20 years.
Yeah. That's the thing. I have time to learn, so that's why I decided, you know what, I'm just going to learn.
I saw Renzo's artwork on RJ from the Fourth Age. He does Thomas Valiant, and I was like, this is good comic book art. This is exactly what I'm thinking of. So I asked RJ if he would mind if I contacted Renzo, and he said, Renzo needs work. Renzo needs work. So we both hire Renzo to draw a comic. So this is down at the police station. They're questioning everybody. And Lord Saker has captured the elementals. So what comic book doesn't have these stasis tubes? Can't kill them right away. We got to put them in stasis tubes and give them the chance to escape. You know, I just love that. So, but in his defense, Lord Saker has a reason to study them. So, you know, there's a storm going on. You know, this is Electrocutioner without his hood, Chrysalis, Shapeshifter, Ratman, Behemoth, and he's freaking out. Behemoth is like the Hulk, but he's scared of everything. He's like, I just want to land. I don't like this. And then Annihilator without his mask.
He still looks like a badass.
Yeah, he still looks like a badass. Yeah. So they're all, you know, in this craft. And then I love this. Monolith is out cold. He was knocked out, and he just wakes up, and boom, he's talking to Lord Saker in like the astral plane. You know, and again, cigarette smoke. It's such a different time.
Yeah.
So he's talking to Tommy Kazurka because I always thought this was cool. Saker recognizes the true intellect of the team, and it's the 14-year-old boy. He's a genius. And it's funny because later on, they're like, you know, they'll find the machine and they're like, well, Tommy will figure it out. And he goes, I'm a genius. That doesn't mean I have everything memorized. It just means I can think really well and I can figure things out sooner or later. But like, it doesn't mean I could just invent machines like a comic book character. You know, so
being smart means you have to follow the laws of physics, not break them.
Well, he understands the laws of physics.
Yeah.
He understands logic. You know, he understands, and I like that the youngest member of the team is the smartest. So they kind of like blow him off. He'll say something like perfectly rational, and they just don't listen to him because Jeanette is the cop, you know, and Murphy is the ex-military. You know what I mean? So like they're not going to listen to him but he's the one making the best sense. And then they're sooner or later, like a couple of issues down the road, they start to realize, yeah, we should listen to Tommy. He becomes the team leader, which is funny. He's a little kid.
Yeah.
So Saker is not questioning him, and he wants to know. He goes, you know, I basically he's projecting himself into his mind, and he's saying, he goes, Rebecca is too frightened for me to get in. Jeanette is too angry. And Jeff is too confused. He goes, because your mind is very ordered, very structured. He goes, I appreciate your mind. You know, he's trying to woo him over, you know. And he says, you know, I want to know why you're here. So he probes even deeper, and boom, he gets in contact with these elemental spirits. He goes, so the Forbidden One has come to us. Small is he to be the consumer of the multiverse. His form is small, his power is stolen from the banished ones. You know, so this is like this is the spirit of the earth, the spirit of the air, the spirit of fire, the spirit of water. They basically say like you, Lord Saker, are a blasphemy. You shouldn't exist. So we came out of, what's the word? Like they do nothing. Passive. We came out of passivity to create 4 agents to stop you. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you think you could stop me? You think you could stop me?" And he starts arguing with them. And what is Tom in the astral form? Tommy turns into Monolith and smashes him. But keep in mind, this is only a mental projection. So this is his costume. I love that. Simple, elegant, just blue and white.
What's that white symbol?
Like a hawk.
Oh, that is cool.
Like a bird of prey. And he's like, he goes, "You said the special effects here were mine. I thought I'd try something more imaginative." He goes, "Huh? It's true that they are, but all power in heaven and earth is mine." And he just blasts Monolith, and that wakes him up in the real world. They imprisoned him when he was Monolith. He turned down into a 14-year-old boy, and he's like, "Oh, I can get out." And notice her costume was different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So here they approaching Matched Island, and I love they're just talking like, "What's all that noise in the background? What's all that noise in the back?" And the plane just explodes. Boom! Tommy's just freeing them all, and they're taking them all out. This cool machine explodes, and now they're just falling on basically Epstein Island. I mean, it's like this island in the Caribbean where like these people go and worship this cult-like figure of Lord Saker.
Oh my gosh!
And I love this fall. It actually gets you scared. Like, because if I hit the water, I sink. If I hit the island, I break. Oh well. He's like resigning himself to destruction. And I love this drawing of her. So what does she do? She calls up the water to break his falls. And she goes, "Oh, Tommy, I never realized what a cute little tuchus you had." He goes, "Please, Fathom, this is embarrassing." And she's super speed in the water. She's unbeatable in the water. They make it to the, Jeff could fly, but he can't really carry anything. He was able to carry Jeanette because she's a slim woman, but he couldn't. He did, only Tommy is super strong in his form.
Wouldn't Vortex carry them through the wind? Like, can't wind carry people?
So that's just it. It could blow people around. Like Bill Willingham is a little bit more like scientifically accurate, if scientifically accurate could be the correct term to describe superheroes. But he could blow a wind, but they're just gonna flop around and everything like that. You know what I mean? So what he does is he carried Firestar, Morningstar, because he could carry her. She's a slim woman, and then Rebecca saved Monolith.
Okay.
But like, and people always ask him in the letters pages, how come Morningstar can't fly? And he says, because she has fire powers. He goes, when was the last time you saw a log in the fireplace just float up the chimney? Just because something's on fire doesn't mean it flies. So I always said that the Human Torch has like thrust powers. He's more like the Human Jet than the Human Torch, but where she is just fire. She doesn't transform into fire. She's immune to fire and she can shoot fire. She's like a napalm girl. Only Reed Richards is Reed Richards. Absolutely. Hibernation. That's the word. That's the word I was thinking of. But not so much hibernation because they were observing. You know what I mean? So like there's an exact word that I'm looking for, but I'm not thinking of
like a vow.
Like they were passive observance, but we're talking about the spirits.
Like retired?
No. The spirits. They were just watching everything. But there's an exact word. I'm sure I'll think of it. So
all right.
I like the Elementals back in the day. Gary Shipman, how you doing? Yeah, the Elementals was one of the most important comics that kind of got forgotten about. And then Bill Willingham rightfully doesn't want to bring it back because he doesn't own the rights to it. I don't even think he could if he wanted to.
Wait. So who owns them currently?
I don't know.
It got lost in the.
I think they got sold off because Comico owed so much money. So they sold the rights to the Elementals to I don't know who. So it got taken away from Bill Willingham, sold off to God knows who to pay a debt that Comico owned. So Bill Willingham is justifiably pissed.
I would be too.
So here are the destroyers. Shapeshifter saved them all. Annihilator's flying looking for him. And Behemoth is like, we got to get out of the water. There's sharks. He's the strongest guy in the world. And he's afraid of everything. So they make it to this little island. The Annihilator's looking for them. They're hiding. And now I love this. We get like a little jet fight. Hey, Buckethead. They're blasting each other. So what is that? A dog fight. So Vortex is chasing them around, doing flips in the air, and it comes down close. And then look at the hands come out and grab Annihilator. Boom! They're learning the teamwork. And I love this. Monolith just chucks him on the ground, breaks like the belt. It just snaps. It's some sort of hard cast metal.
Oh,
good God, Tommy. He goes, he's dead. And I love this. Lord Seeker goes, he's dead. He goes, Annihilator just died. He's the second the Elementals have killed. They're picking off my destroyers with ridiculous ease. I will have to attend to them personally, at which time I can't afford any distractions. Do you have any additional energy to handle them also? Do you have enough additional energy to handle them? No, I do not. So I'll have to go in and get more. So you see how casually, they die?
Wait, who was the first one to die?
The first one to die was Chrysalis.
Oh, that's right.
Chrysalis died, and now Annihilator's dead. And he's like, they're just killing them all. He's like, I need more energy. I have to go and get more. And you're like, dun, dun, dun. And I love all of the henchmen are beautiful women. Look at this panel, this military. We got this, sci-fi machine next to these, Vietnam era helicopters. Here come the rest of the destroyers out of the water. And Behemoth is like, and then he ate Quinn's boat, and then he ate Quinn. I'm telling you, sharks. He's just scared. There's something about these lines, Bill Willingham's lines. I wish I had the vocabulary to describe why I like the lines, but they're so good. Again, guys, I'm going to throw this into the chat one more time. If anybody else wants to come and join Luna and myself, it's supposed to be just appreciating some good comics. So I don't, if more people come in, that's fine. So I love this because I got a Ratman is like, I got a set. It smells like Vortex. Poof. And they're picking them off one by one. She sneaks up on Shapeshifter. And I love this. Executioner doesn't even get to do anything. He just flicks them. He goes, oh, you almost drowned me. And for that, I'm going to kill you, you little princess. And she turns into this monstrous shark. But you can't do anything to Vortex while she's in the water. I love, she just sends, look how high up she goes. Falls down. Yeah. I beat Shapeshifter. Good, where is she? She got away. And Behemoth is trapped in a ring of fire. So this issue, the Elementals really, really just kick butt. And then look at this. So Vortex is dragging Ratman across the water. You give up? I thought that would take the fight out of you. And Ratman just jumps on him and just shreds him. And that cut back to the other end of the conversation. He should have easily defeated Ratman by now. I wonder where he is. Da-da-da. So next issue, you see what happens to Vortex. This I want to point out is a letter by T.M. Maple, which stands for the Mad Maple. And the Mad Maple, legend has it, owned a comic book store in Canada somewhere, in Western Ontario. And supposedly he read every comic book that went through his store and wrote a letter to every comic book that went through his store. So at this period, from 80 to almost 90, you will find letters from T.M. Maple. And he wrote so many letters that all the companies would send him advanced copies because his letters were good. It wasn't just like I like the comic. He wrote really thoughtful letters. So he would get advanced copies so that the first issues of comics would have letters pages. So I think he was not the first, but the most famous of all letter hacks. Letter hacks being people that wrote plenty and plenty of letters. Kurt Busiek was an early letter hack.
Forgive me if I didn't know, but who was that pink guy from the last cover?
Behemoth, the big baby.
Oh, the big baby guy. Yeah, the pink guy.
Look at this cover. These like not pastels. There's a word for like these earthy colors. This reminds me of like the same coloring of Matt Wagner's Grendel. Just double covers. These are so good. So good. So now we know, this is, and I love how there's like not much stuff, not much trade dress, just a little Comico symbol down here. It's just so good. And here we got first page. The colors are by Janet Jackson. Oh, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. That's funny. Colors by Janet Jackson. So here we got Lord Saker. I love this white cape. He's just floating. He's like, what do you want from us? What do I always want? I want power. No, you diminish us too much. I don't recall that I was asking. So he's just, there's this, can you see? I'll move the camera up a little bit. There's just this like egg up here, and he's like, I need power. I need power to fight. And here's power. He takes the power, and they're like, oh, by the way, this I always thought was interesting. Like, we watch you and those women who are always on the island. What do you call it? Mating? Because we tried it, and guess what? We had this interesting little creature because we didn't name him yet, so you can't control him. And this little demon baby comes out.
Oh my gosh!
I always thought that was just like so grotesquely clever. So, and it gives away so much information. They're demons, and he controls them because he knows their names, and they begrudgingly are being controlled. So, and then they're spying on him, and he has he keeps all these women on the island because he likes women. A lot of information came out. This is just such good writing. We all know Bill Willingham's a great writer from reading Fables, but man, this was back in 1983. It's just so good.
So wait, are the elemental gods things demons, or is this someone else? Like other people?
No, the elemental gods, or whatever they call the elemental spirits, are the good guys, because Lord Saker is trapping demons and stealing their power, and he's a threat to the multiverse, as they said. We still don't know what his scheme is, what his plan is. We just know that he's tapping into demonic power for his own nefarious reasons, and even the demons don't want to do it. So that's how evil Lord Saker is. And now we cut to, here's when we find out that Chrysalis died. So when they said he killed two, we didn't know who the other one. She fell without a helmet and broke her neck. Ooh. Real stakes in these elemental comics. So
subtle information.
Yep. She leaves Behemoth out here on the island because she knows he can't swim, like on this little rock out. But there's sharks in the water. She goes, I know. I passed a whole bunch of them. Hey, come back. I don't like this. I can't swim. So
poor guy.
That's how they deal with Behemoth. They're looking for Vortex. Where's Vortex? And then you see this shadow over here. He flies and falls down, and his hand is bleeding. So now all the women henchmen. I just love this page. Got the choppers. Looks really good, and the spot. And what they do? They found Vortex. So just listen to this. Red leader to Cert. Cert 1, what have you got? A mess. Could you be more specific? All right. Here it goes. The victim looks like Vortex, or he was anyway. He has suffered massive blood loss from several wounds. He has a depressed fracture to the skull and evidence of subdermal hematoma. There are multiple lacerations on the face, neck, and anterior torso. There are at least 2 compound fractures on the left forearm. He has avulsions to his right thigh, his right lower quadrant of his abdomen, and a complete avulsion to the left upper abdomen that has exposed. And the other girl goes, I think I'm going to be sick. That is exposed eviscerated intestinal tissue. There's a total aversion of the groin. She's like, I'm going to be sick. There's a lot more. Do you want me to continue? Hell no. Just put that thing in a body bag. We'll pick it up. He goes, you don't understand. This guy's still alive.
Nice.
Yeah. So Vortex is still alive, even though he has suffered all of this damage. So the hot chicks, the henchmen are just like talking and, what's going on? And here comes Saker. This demon is just coming out after him. He can't control it. The demon doesn't have a name. I thought that was so clever. And that's, to me, is one of the things that I love about Bill Willingham. So this is an evil wizard who summons demons, knows their names, traps them, and then steals their power for whatever his nefarious purposes is. So that Bill Willingham's like, well, what if the demons have a baby and they don't name it? It's such an obvious idea that, like, wow, that is so cool. Why did I think of it? You know what I mean? It's so freaking cool. So now this demon baby, it just kills this girl. You know what I mean? And Saker doesn't care. They're soldiers and sex toys to him. He's that evil. They're like, hold still. And the girl just, this little piggy, want to play a game? You want to play it? Boof. And she just shoots him with this energy weapon. He goes, thank you, Miss Wagner. You're hurt. He goes, my arm is fine. As you can see, he heals himself. Now let's clean up this mess. Like, he has no care that this woman was just killed in front of him. The rest of the elementals like, what do? We fight. They don't know where Jeff is. So now Monolith just jumps in front of the bullets. They shoot a rocket. She blasts the rocket. I like Rebecca over here. You can't help but be a little nervous about that kind of stuff. So they just take it. I love this little picture of him down here holding this rock. He's throwing rocks. Boom! Look at that. And the chauvinist to me feels bad because he's taking out women, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. But and that Willingham thought of that too, So now she's like, "Stop it! We're killing people." And keep in mind, they're killing these henchwomen. And she's like, "Of course we're killing. What do you expect would happen? You think you're in a damn comic book? This is war. People are gonna die. Get used to killing. You're likely to do a lot more of it before we're through." Interlude to Mercer Island, where Rebecca lives. The big government agencies coming in to just put a clamp down on the elementals. And the lawyer is threatening. He's like, "Oh, you're threatening me? You don't know who I am. I'm a bigwig lawyer." So now sets up this whole legal battle in the comics, and then we got supervillain hydrofoil things, helicopters, and she is just losing her mind. She goes, I could stop them. I could stop all of them without killing them all. So she just summons a rainstorm. The rain gets so big, just a torrential downpour that nobody could fly. Nobody could fly. And then, of course, that doesn't stop Ratman, who just starts attacking them all. And what does Ratman? What does she do? She just starts burning them all. Oh, I'm sorry. Tilted up like that.
Burns that rat.
Yeah. How's that?
Yeah, I see it.
David, how's that? Is that better? So this is Shapeshifter, obviously. Oh, let me turn that off, otherwise there's a glare. She burns Shapeshifter again. She burns Ratman again. I'll pick you up. Shapeshifter recovers with Ratman, and then Lord Saker just attacks. In fact, all of your abilities and accomplishment, you've accomplished damn little. Then again, how many of how many forces of the earth hope? Again, how can any force of the earth hope to succeed against the prince of power of the air? You know, I love this. He's just floating in, just like with the wave of his hand, he defeats them all. And
I love the way they make the sky look.
The sky looks, yeah, it's just like coruscating of energy. And then I love the box is burnt. You know,
Yeah.
So powerful that even the text boxes get destroyed. Again, what a shame. Evangeline by Chuck Dixon.
So powerful, he burns the fourth wall.
Yep. Macross. This, you see, here it is. This is the first manga that came to America that I was aware of, the Macross saga. Yeah. Yeah. So old style, big eyes. Grendel, a mage, and Robotech and all. Yep. That's what I said. I was obsessed with Comico. It was, to me, it was like, oh my God, this is important. This is important. I was a little kid, but I'm still glad I got these. And also keep in mind that these comics didn't come out monthly. These comics came out when they came out. They went right to the direct market. So that was like a weird thing. Like sometimes like a friend of mine would be like, I got the newest Elementals. Like, oh, and then you went to stores sold out because they only got like 6 copies, so you had to drive to other stores to find them. It was difficult to collect the Elementals. Let me try to get the whole comic in there.
Yeah, it's like the Miyazaki method. It's done when it's done.
Yep. Oh, Viz Comics did them first? Okay. Yeah, you're right. Now that you made me think of it. And it's hard to find them, yes. So now we have the introduction of this like checkerboard up there. I guess Comico was trying to make like a company-wide look. So here all of the characters. I love that Saker is the devil, the hermit, the fool. So here they are operating on Vortex. The left wing has been collapsed. You see, we can't do nothing. There's no time for a transplant. He's dead. Look at this. Bring in the camera. Lord Saker, as you can see, the aorta is healing. It's laceration at a phenomenal rate. It's unbelievable. Just the amount of calories you need to have such. We could still reconnect the kidney if the aorta, if it regenerates. No, take him off life support. I want your team to analyze the process with careful scrutiny. The kidney will have to fend for itself.
I can't imagine studying all those terms just so you can write this.
And then he's like, just because I work for you doesn't mean I've forsaken the Hippocratic Oath. If you think I'm going to sacrifice this one chance for your crude experiment, I just, and then dies.
Damn.
Gentlemen, I suggest you carry on with my instructions. Dr. Hellick, you are the chief surgeon now. Yes, sir. Switching life support off. And then we cut to Vortex over here. They're just a prison on Natched Island. He's got the, and he's having lunch with Lord Saker. And Lord Saker, he just wants to know all this information about them. Limited print runs are too low. Yeah, these were hard to find. So now we find the origin of Saker. And this was controversial. I remember like people will get mad at this at the time. So, there was a preacher going around back in, the Middle East 2,000 years ago. And, people were uncomfortable by the way the preacher talked to the whores. And they turned on him, and the preacher needed to calm everybody down with the display of powers. So he opened up and resurrected somebody from the dead. So it's legally distinct from Jesus. You know what I mean? And then we got back Annihilator. Wait, you don't remember me? Annihilator is like, why should I remember you? I saw you dead, you son of a bitch. I helped Tommy kill you. What kind of madhouse? What's going on here, nurse? They inject him. Then we got the Pentagon is talking to the FBI. The FBI is talking to this. Here's Morningstar doing her exercise, and Saker is just befriending her. He's being like Mr. Friendly. And then we continue his origin. This guy comes back from the dead. Everybody calms down and realizes, he's powerful. And then this guy continues living, because I fled civilization and awaited death that has never come. I was bound to magical forces and they gave me no release. I watched that priest here die and I cursed him to his damn face 1,000 times and still my death never came. So,
So is he the priest or is someone he's upset over the priest?
So Lord Saker is the person that the preacher resurrected.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And and he was only resurrected so that the preacher could show everybody that don't kill me. I have power. And now he's like doomed to live
forever.
And after like 2,000 years, he's just grown to despise humanity. Here's another one of these cool looking ships. She's looking at the fuel tanks. She's thinking of a way to get out. And he's like, "Oh, if you're thinking of blowing up the fuel tanks," he goes, you'll probably survive. But how about if you drowned? How about if you're crushed by rocks? How about if So he's forcing her to experience death the way her teammates experienced death. And that causes her to freak out. So Shapeshifter's like, "Oh, I'll bring her back to the room." Look how Shapeshifter just drags her back. She'll never forget the indignity suffered by her. "Oh, you want some coffee? Here's coffee. Here's your food." She just throws it at her. And she just goes back to working out. This art, if you ask me, it's not as good. I think Bill did layouts and the inker did more finishing work. Yeah. And now the master plan. This is the tower with this shadow spear. It's just this fount of mystical energy that he's been accumulating, and the ominous master plan, but he doesn't tell you. So now it's Tommy's turn. So he's out like good copping with Tommy, talking to him, flattering him, telling him all the stories. And now he's continuing the stories. I became a conquistador. I became like a Puritan, killing witches, even though I knew they weren't witches. I just like to kill people. I became a Nazi, all this stuff. And he's like, "My plan is not the world's true destiny. What does he say? You will live under," he goes, "with the shadow spear, I will control the world. I'll be the absolute master of the world." He goes, "You like to play God, don't you?" He goes, "If my plan's not the world's true destiny, then let the world prove it by defeating me." He goes, "One look and you'll know your answer to me." He goes, "You're smart enough. You know the world needs a ruler." And he lets Tommy walk off on his own. Everybody else, like he beat up. And here all of these people are the government plot. Some guys assassinating them from keeping the elementals files, getting to other people. And Rebecca now is hanging out with Ratman. And I love this. To listen to the Alan Parsons Project, listening to music. What is she doing? She's like warming him up. You know what I mean? Pretending to be his girlfriend so that like he'll, relax and let her slip up.
Oh, is that why Rakim took him to hit that place to listen to music?
Yeah, Ratman. Yeah, he's like, "Oh," she's like, "Oh, I love that band. Yeah, let's hang out." You know what I mean? And he's like, "Oh, okay, Rebecca." And I love this. They're trying to make him lose weight. He's jogging. So they jog in the hugging, and they're looking at each other. Because "You still on for tennis on Thursday?" She's, "Yeah, I don't know. Come on, I even let you win." She's like, "I got to go to the bathroom." So here she goes into the bathroom, and they're talking. He's singing the Alan Parsons Project. He's singing, and then he's like, he hears a flush, and he goes, "Come on!" He opens up the door, and she escapes. He's like, "Oh no!" And he knows what's gonna happen. "Oh, Becky, how could you have done this to me?" Yeah, he fell for it.
So can she turn into water too, or did she only manipulate it?
She could turn into water. She could manipulate water.
Okay.
She could wriggle through the toilet system. So
That must suck.
Ronnie Trickshot, how you doing, Ronnie? Good day, gentlemen. Not sure how I wound up here, but here I am. Cool stuff. Oh, thanks for coming by. Well, you know what? I'm gonna end now because all of a sudden I got really sleepy. But I'll continue with the elementals. Oh wow, I'm up to issue 4 already. I'll continue with the elementals. I don't know when. This was just a spur of the moment. Wow, I hate to leave with 28 people watching, but you know, how's everybody doing? You guys like this? Should I continue with these comics? Great. Just talking about. I did the a Fantastic Four run from 370 to 378, but you know, this is like, you know, the first appearance and then the first 4 issues of the Elementals. I love this series so much. I'll continue with this, but I'm going to stop now because it's almost 2:00 in the morning. I got to go to bed.
Yeah.
Where are you, Luna?
I'm in Texas.
Oh, okay. The great state of Texas. So what time is it there? Midnight?
Yeah, midnight. It's 12:48.
Okay. Yeah, it's 1:48 for me. So it's 1:45. So I'm going to stop here. Dave, yeah. Dave, good to see you, Dave. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. If I can, just I'll bring this up one more time. My comic, Heroic Tales, it's the Fund My Comic campaign is closing on Saturday. So only 2 days left to go. And this is the only place, Fund My Comic is the only place you'll be able to get the Pat Broderick cover. Kickstarter still is, I think I still have 2 weeks left on Kickstarter, or maybe 10 days left on Kickstarter. And that's where the Michael T. Gilbert cover is available. And then Indiegogo, the last of the 3, that's starting when the Kickstarter closes. And I'll have a Mike Gustovich cover. Mike Gustovich being the creator of the Justice Machine that I showed earlier. It's 3:18 p.m. in Australia. Why? That's like time travel. Perez Avengers, the Elementals. You know, you never have to twist my arm too hard to get me to show off those Perez Avengers. You know, the later ones with Kurt Busiek or the earlier ones with Len Wein, Jim Shooter. And DC Miller says, good night. Yep, I got to go to bed. And Luna, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for
popping. It was nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Do you have any active campaigns or anything you want to say before you go?
I am planning on streaming next month. I don't know if that's worth saying, but like,
what's the name of your channel?
Oh, it's our Luniverse.
Luniverse. Okay.
Yeah, soon next month I plan on going live after I brush up my skills and feel comfortable to show my art so that I can get people. I'm not planning on doing like a traditional campaign. I'm like planning on like I'm just getting it done and selling it, you know. I can't hear you.
Oh, I just realized, okay, one of the cameras has the mic, not both of them. I was saying, you're never going to be comfortable and you're never going to be ready. So just do it.
You know what? You're right. I'll probably start next week.
You know what I mean? So if you're going to wait for the perfect time, there never is a perfect time. So just do it. Follow me on Twitter. You know, let me know when you go live. I'll help you promote. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to talk about comics?
I'm gonna try to show some ideas of the characters, and then as time goes by, evolve my ideas into the story, and then I won't. Maybe I'll do a Indiegogo, or maybe I'll just complete it and then sell it. You know?
Oh, cool. Okay, so I like that. So you're gonna make your show will be like an evolution of your characters and your ideas and your story, and then bring it to a campaign. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like an evolution of, hey, I'm a beginner artist, and now, but I'm learning, and every time I stream, you're going to see me grow.
Oh, cool. All right, yeah. Just keep. Let me know. You know, I'll help you out if I can. You know.
Thank you, sir. It's been an honor.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Well, I got all of a sudden I got sleep. I guess the caffeine kick just wore off. But I'll continue with Elementals for a couple more issues, and then Perez Avengers. You don't have to twist my arm. But thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye.